Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Arun and in the series from salesman to sales manager, today I'm going to talk more about your first 30 to 60 days. I'm sure by now if you have watched my previous two videos where I talked about the essential checklist of 30 days and the first things that you have to do between 30 to 60 days, by now you would have got a fair idea about what all you need to do. So if you have done well in the first 30 days, I'm sure you would have got a lot of clarity about people, your products, your peers, your customers, your organization, and a lot of processes that are happening around it. And the first step between the 30 and 60 days that I had mentioned was all about your people. How do you build your team? How do you understand your team? How do you set their priorities so that they do the job that they are assigned to in a more effective way? Now we move to the second step. Now in the second step, our core focus is all about organization, knowing the organization better, knowing the sales priority the organization got to know better. Now how do you know about it? The first thing that you need to know is what is the company's strategy and what are their sales priorities. In terms of that, what is the target market, what are the customers that they are targeting, what are the solutions that they are providing, what are the products and services they have that makes the customer delightful in the offering that they get. Not only that, you also have to look at it how the sales team is able to create a perception in the mind as the organization wants it. Also, how your sales reps are creating a high value in front of the customer so that your organization perception goes very high. Now, if you do not pay attention to these parts of the strategy, then first you yourself would be failing, and number two, you would not be able to coach your people on how to do those things effectively. So it's very, very important to understand what is the company's strategy and what are the sales priorities. Number 2 point, that is to understand the culture of the organization. Now, culture is so integral part of the organization that it is very, very important and a must for you to understand how the organization behaves. How does people think about themselves? What are the acceptable and unacceptable behaviors in the organizations? The faster you know about them, the better you would behave. Now, I'll give you an example. When I was working in a startup multinational company, the work expectations were very high. The delivery of speed was very high. We had to execute a lot of plans without too much of approvals, but to go and execute it. In fact, the systems and processes were not involved. So our speed of doing things was tremendous. While on the other hand, when I moved into an organization which was very evolved, an old organization, I realized that I was trying to jump into a lot of things and that was not welcomed, because everywhere there was a defined process, there was a defined reporting structure, approval structures, and also there are various ways and means that you have to behave in a particular way when you are talking to seniors and their seniors, because there are various departments that are involved. Now the more you understand this, and the more, in fact, I understood this entire model, I changed my gear from a very high speed to a low speed to understand everything. And the moment I got fit into that culture, I was able to be more productive and well liked by many of my colleagues and my seniors. Now, this is what exactly I'm saying, that the moment you understand the culture, you will be able to make a mark. The third thing is knowing that how organization works in terms of the approval process. In various organizations, you would find that there is a defined process, there is a defined approval system. In a very formal way, everything happens. Whereas in young companies, in startups or smaller companies, you will find that everything is chaotic. People are just talking informally in getting things done. Now you need to understand all these things very quickly in these 30 and 60 days so that you take a very quick control and hold off the current situation that is happening. So I'll be taking you through little more details about what all you need to pay attention to in the 30 and 60 days to know your organization better, because the more you know about it, the better you are in a control to behave and act in accordance to the expectation the organization is having. Stay tuned, I'm bringing that. Now I will be telling you a checklist of actions that you can take at your own end to get more details about the organization. The number one is, what is the MIS, Management Information System, in the organization? Now every organization have an MIS through which they generate a lot of reports, from where they get a lot of idea about how to track people activity, how to understand and analyze the data that is coming towards them. So your role is to find out which are those reports which are used in the reviews, which are those reports which are required for forecasting, which are those reports that give analysis about future trends in the organization. So the moment you are very clear about those reports, what are they, how they are filled, how they need to be presented, you also need to know that what is the expectation at the manager level when you are presenting that report. So understanding the MIS is a very important piece. So how much autonomy and decision making authority you have in this role? Now it's very important to understand that how this role is governed in the organization. Do you have the authority to sign a 1 lakh rupee expense bill, or you have to take the approval from your manager? Understanding this dynamics and autonomy means the power to operate freely, is there or not, or for everything you have to take the approval. Understanding this will give you a lot of idea and clarity about organization. The next thing is how decisions are made in the organization, because every organization has a decision matrix. A lot of smaller organization, you will see whether the founder or the CEO has the veto power to define and decide the major decisions. So is it that it will go to the managing director or the company general manager, or is there an organizational metrics that defines that even at a middle management level the decisions can be made? So you have to pay a lot of attention to these minute details that will help you to fasten your success process in getting things done from people around you. How do you get resources for your people? Now you have to support your people time to time on various things, whether it is marketing input, supply chain issues, or maybe any other operational issue. So understanding beyond your current sales manager dependence, you need to go out and have a rapport and meetings time to time with the marketing, HR, operation head, so that you are in a good rapport with them and can take their help to get resources which is required for your team to be successful. The next step is you need to find out that how do people communicate with each other. Now, is it formal or is it in writing? Because when it's formal means that for every approval or every important discussion you need to fix up a meeting, and only after a meeting people will decide. Or is it that you have to also document it in the form of writing? Because every organization will have their own metrics in getting things done. Or it may be just a casual conversation can help you to get what you are looking at. Or maybe it's a mix of all. So you need to pay attention to all these things when you are understanding your organization in the first 30 to 60 days. Now the other thing that you really need to pay attention to is what is their discipline towards time. Do they have time integrity? Because a lot of organizations are very well disciplined when it comes to time. You will find that the meeting starts on time, it ends on time. People come very well prepared during the meeting and they present very well because they rehearse their presentations in a very proper way. While on the other hand, you will also find that there are organizations where there is lack of time integrity. People come under-prepared, they don't come on time, they just get delayed in the meetings, or meeting gets delayed just because people are not well prepared and organized. So understanding these things will give you a lot of idea about how to prepare yourself. The next thing is you need to also know and understand a lot about products. What is the solutions or the services that you are providing? What is the differentiation you have? How and which markets that you are targeting? How your products are differentiated with respect to competition? What is the strategy that is there in your hand, and what is the value proposition that you are offering to the customers? Now the more you understand these things in greater detail, you will have a very firm grip about the role that you are in, and also you will be able to guide and command and coach your people to go in the right direction. I'll be sharing you some more very small but very important tips that can help you to take that strength in the first 30 to 60 days as a new manager. Now we come to a very important part, that is how get things done, because your major role as a manager is that how you can help your team to be more successful by providing them right resources, right information, right knowledge on time, and as well as how you get the approval done at various stakeholder level. Now there are formal ways and there are informal ways to get things done from people. Well, I'm sure you will agree that the formal way will help you to secure your job, whereas most of the work is generally done in the informal way, which means that you have to be in touch with various stakeholders, understand the grapevine, how things are getting done, what people are talking about, and being a part of those discussions. Because when you are working very smartly in the informal way and you are in touch with various stakeholders, which means it can be the manager or an office assistant, you would learn a lot of things that what is happening in the particular department. And the better you have a rapport with them, you will be able to get access to that information. But I'll give you a caution that I'm not recommending here that you should be doing gossiping, because gossiping is a bad habit and it will just help, it will unnecessarily drag you into politics. This is what you need to avoid. You only need to focus on the important information that is required and get your things done, because that's your larger objective. So in nutshell, I would only say that by knowing all the information, process, systems, reporting structure of your organization, don't get stuck into internal meetings, because that's another bad habit that you develop over a period of time. Because your core role is to be on field, on ground with your people, to help them, to motivate them, to develop them, to coach them, so that they become more capable and able to bring more results. It's a golden rule that you should be spending most of your time with your people and their customers. So if you really want to be successful in the first 90 days, and particularly how do you spend your time between 30 to 60 days, this is the place to be in most of the time with your people and their customers. Well, I'm sure you would have really got a lot of insights about that, how you as a manager, as a new manager, you need to shape yourself up in the new role, in the new culture. And if you have liked this video, do share, subscribe, and share your comments below so that I know that what have you understood so far in this entire episode. I'll be coming back again with more knowledge, information sharing on from salesman to sales manager. So stay tuned.